Hello, welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast with me, Gareth, and my lovable, round, cuddly co-host Keith.
Hello. It must be a bad week for you.
Yeah. Every time I'm nice to you, it's a bad week for me. I've been nice to you quite a lot recently. Let me just move this a little closer. So, how are we doing?
Yeah, good. Another week, another dollar.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have any more camera issues. I fixed that. Fixed my wallet too, but I fixed it. So,
fixed your wallet.
Yeah, not cheap. But I shouldn't have. I didn't buy a new camera. I just fixed Sony being lazy bastards by not making new drivers for their camera. On Mac, I bought a device that captures the camera and it works. It seems to. Anyway, I look good. Look, 1080p for once. Wow, even though this camera's capable of doing 4K, 1080p. Couldn't even get 1080p on those Sony drivers.
Okay, I'm just going to sit there. I was going to say something. I was like, kind of, because it's like kind of can do 4K. I think that connector can do 4K.
Yeah, it can.
Okay, yeah. I'm just saying. Right, so we've got some news. We have Marvel news about Fantastic Four. We've got some news. Doctor fucking who? Oh my god. Acolyte news. I haven't watched the Acolyte. I'll be honest with you. It's not been a great week for me, and I really didn't want to put the shitty cherry on top of the shitty trifle.
It was the best episode this week. I mean, in many ways, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was the best episode of a piece of shit. So it went from a 0 to a 1. But I will say that it had the best lightsaber fighting I've seen in all of Disney Star Wars.
Okay.
I will say that.
Okay, all I've seen clips of headbutting lightsabers. Because that's a thing now, apparently.
Yes, he did headbutt a lightsaber. Yes, there was that. But there was also a bit where I'm going to talk about it when we get onto the Acolyte.
Yeah, we'll get onto it.
But there were some good moments. There were some like, oh, that's actually quite cool moment. It's all going to go downhill again because we're going to get fucking green bitch with her lightsaber whip, aren't we? In a week or two. So yeah.
There's news of some news from the Dexter prequel, which I didn't know about until I read so you sent me the story.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Slow Horses season 4. I need Slow Horses. I need it now. I'm sure it's ready, and they're just hanging on to it.
I thought that'd make you happy. I thought that would make you happy. So yeah, Slow Horses as well. And we can talk about it because there's a few things I've seen this week. I watched Douglas Got Cancelled. Yeah, we talk about that.
There's a reason that Stephen Moffat and all the people associated with the TV show are talking about being cancelled. Because it's publicity. It's that simple. Yeah.
We'll talk about it because I'm in two minds about it. Okay. And we got to talk about it. I also watched Netflix. I watched Supercell. Supercell, I think that's how you call it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting.
All right. I watched Dark Matter, and boy, did that ending get a bit messy.
Yep. Yeah.
But it looks like it's one and done, though. It feels like it's one and done.
This is the interesting thing because I found out something about that this week as well. The showrunner is the novelist.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it says it right at the beginning. Crouch.
And he's talking about season 2.
Ooh. Okay. It'll turn to Sliders season 2. It'll be Sliders. I love the idea that the box isn't the corridor, it's the box folded over again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, I like that.
That made perfect sense. I was like, yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Anyway, I think we should get on with our first bit of news. So let's have a Nigel.
Hi, this is Nigel, and I'm talking in my lovely narrator's voice. Bask in its loveliness. But don't bask for too long. We need your help. Come to YouTube and watch our videos for the love of God. Well, send Keith round to your next barbecue and he'll eat all your food. Toasty! You have been warned.
Okay. We're delving into the news from the cinematic universe. Kevin Feige has revealed the upcoming Fantastic Four will be set in 1960s New York. This decision opens up unique storytelling possibilities and aesthetic choices, reflecting the era's icons and cultural elements. It also fucks with the MCU continuity.
They're saying it's in a different universe.
Oh, fuck off! Not another.
It's not set in
universe.
678 or 676 or whatever the fucking numbering is for the MCU universe. Yeah, it's also apparently not set in the MCU. So they're doing a Fantastic Four movie set in the wrong era, not set in the MCU, but in a different universe.
So how will that feature with the Avengers and their tying universes stuff? And Keith,
yes, I know.
Why did you press the button? You know
I didn't press the button. I didn't press the button. No, I did a thumbs up. I did a thumbs up, and it bloody well it reacts to me. I've got to turn off reactions.
All right. So for the listeners, yeah, Keith has this thing on his Apple computer where I've turned it off.
I did
it
that.
Puts these little emoticons and stuff.
Yeah.
The problem is he triggered one, and it put one up there. Oh, yay. So yeah, it's. So having Doctor Doom in the main cinematic universe now looks like it's not going to happen.
I don't get the point of this. Why are they making an MCU film that's not in the MCU? It makes absolutely no sense.
And the other thing too is it's in a different time period too.
Yeah.
So they can't even cross over without crossovering and time traveling at the same time, which then gets really messy, and the audience loves that shit.
Look, I mean, I think this movie's already a flop. It's already a flop. I mean, these people are just. I don't know what's going through Feige's fucking brains. I really don't, unless there's something. Unless they're going to drag them into our universe somehow at the end of it. It's the only way it's going to work.
The only thing I can think of, Deadpool turns up and goes, "Okay, you're coming with me." It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, they released a trailer this week, another Deadpool trailer.
Oh yes,
and they've revealed one of the cameos in it, and I was pissing myself laughing. I thought that was a real cool cameo, actually.
Oh, that's a great cameo.
So I'm actually looking. It makes me look forward to the Deadpool movie. But that's because it's pure Ryan Reynolds, and it hasn't. I bet that it hasn't really got a lot to do with Feige. But this just doesn't make sense. I mean, the casting didn't particularly make sense in terms of Reed Richards. So I was already kind of like.
I don't know if they turned around and said, look, we set it in the 60s, yeah. They go into the negative zone and then they return, and they just happen to return to now. That would make sense. That's the only thing I can think of. Seriously, or they go up in a rocket and do like a jump to light speed, and because of relativity, yeah, they go for a big. Come back,
the whole world's monkeys. Oh no, wrong movie.
The whole world is monkeys, Keith. Have you not seen the news? Yes. We're all just monkeys clinging to a ball of rock flying through space.
Actually, I'm purposely not watching the news at the moment. I want to remain happy. But I mean, I started hearing rumors of this, that it was going to be a period piece. And I was like, well, hang on a second. How can it be a period piece? Then you start going, oh, it's not set in the main universe. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
All right, hang on a second. Given the fact that it's the MCU, a period piece makes me worry. It's going to be a lot of anger.
Your wife's watching.
Anyway. The reason she calls Sue Storm, because she storms off.
my opinion on this has gone, it wasn't particularly good at the beginning. So I don't know. I mean, why do you set a comic book movie in the 60s? It kind of worked for Captain America because you knew that Captain America was going to get frozen. But like, okay, I know that the original Fantastic Four came out in the 60s, so I get it. But the MCU is about moving forward. Why would you purposefully go back unless you intend to bring them forward? But you've got to be clear with that. You've got to be clear that they're going to feature, say, in the next Avengers movie. They've got to be on the roster. Then you go, okay, we know that they're somehow going to come into the future. Okay, that makes it more interesting. But releasing this has actually switched most people off. They're like, well, okay, I'm not that interested. I want to see characters that are brought into I want to see the MCU story continue. That's been the biggest problem since Endgame. They haven't continued it. We've just had one movie after another where it's standalone characters who are all really unlikable. I mean, the Eternals was fucking awful. We didn't recast Black Panther. We made it his sister, which, okay, Shuri was a good character as Shuri. We need T'Challa, and we didn't do that. Okay, we've still got Peter Parker around. That might be interesting. But they haven't done anything. They fucked up all the TV series. So I don't know where they're going with this. I think they need to be a bit clearer where they're going with this.
It doesn't make any logical sense. I want Doctor Doom to, because they were supposed to have Kang as the bad guy. Doctor Doom really would fit that hole. He can take the Avengers on his own. He's that bad. That was just fucking awesome. But no, we can't have that because it's not like Doctor Doom create Battle World and everyone fight it out in Battle World or anything like that. No. We'll pick, I don't know, fucking Spot to be actually saying that the Spot in Thingy is quite a good bad guy, so they can't use him.
I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Stiltman against the Avengers.
I don't know. I mean, they are still talking about the Avengers movie coming up, and apparently, what's his face? Cumberbatch is still going to be in it. So I don't know, but at the moment, the biggest problem with the MCU is not even all the politics and stuff. It's just hasn't been going anywhere. It has felt like it's got lost in its direction, and this makes even less sense. And where are the fucking X-Men? I mean, you made that kind of mutant link to what's her face, Carla, whatever her name is,
the Marvel, the
Miss Marvel, right?
Miss Fisto.
Miss Marvel was
the actress is fine. The actress is great. I hate the character though. The actress is actually one of the people that they've got in the MCU at the moment. You can go, actually, they seem like a good person.
The character in the TV series was likable. I actually did watch the Marvels, right? And the fucking baddie is so bad at acting. I mean, her acting is terrible. Let alone the baddie was badly written, but the acting is terrible, right?
There's just Benedict Cumberbatch.
Actually, I have to say, what's her face as Captain Marvel wasn't that bad in this film. I mean, she was probably one of the least egregious things in the film. But Miss Marvel in that film was actually quite likable. I mean, in the actual fact, I do it a disservice because it's the only TV series out of all of the Marvel series, other than Hawkeye, that I actually kind of thought was okay. It was entertaining enough to watch. It wasn't fantastic. It had its moments, but it wasn't as politicky as some of the other ones. Hawkeye I liked, but that's purely because the actress is so charismatic that she can pull it off.
Yeah.
and she does have a cameo at the end of the Marvels. So they're bringing her back. And again, that actually did work. The cut scene at the end did kind of work. The Marvels wasn't the worst Marvel movie. Yeah, I think Ant-Man 4 Quantumania was worse.
I don't know, because I promised myself I like Ant-Man. I'm one of the few people who liked Ant-Man, so I watched
I love
Ant-Man Quantumania. I even like the second one because it was the father-daughter dynamic
I
bit
liked
I
the
liked.
second one.
And then they fucked it in the third film.
Yeah. Sorry, hang on. I just got to say, hey Biff, I was worrying about you because I hadn't seen you for a few weeks. So, hey buddy. We'll come back to the comments, but I didn't think the Marvels was the worst Marvel movie by a long shot. But I don't understand this. I do not understand where they're going with this. I really don't.
Yeah.
But, anyway, shall we move on? Go on. Go on. You say it.
It's all fucked. A word's too much for you? Then you should follow us on Instagram. We put pretty pictures out. Thanks. I need to start putting pretty pictures out. We're diving into the recent controversy surrounding BBC and its flagship series, Doctor Who. Despite declining ratings, the BBC is promoting the show as its top drama amongst viewers under 35 with brain damage. I mean, it raises questions about the audience engagement and future show direction. Didn't need to do this before. Really didn't need to do this before. Why have they all of a sudden they've moved the goalpost there? It doesn't make it. Sylvester McCoy, who is my doctor, who's the doctor I grew up with, even though I did kind of watch a few Colin Bakery things, but I can barely remember that. I can remember Sylvester McCoy more, and I've met him, and he's lovely. And my son's met him too, and he's lovely. He got cancelled for ratings higher than their ratings. Yep. Yeah, for Battlefield, which is one of the Doctor Who episodes that I like that people don't like. But then again, because I watched it as a kid, I probably have that kind of weird kind of nostalgic connection to it. So they frame it as success with younger viewers. And I said this before, if you want to get the younger viewers, you have to get the parents, because the parents will sit down with the children and watch it around family time, and then they will continue watching it, then they will watch it with their family, and the cycle continues and continues and continues. And that's pretty much what kept it going in the first place, yeah? So I don't know why they're sitting there going this under 25 in the 35 demographic. Yeah, people. There's lots of people who I went through on YouTube who liked this series of Doctor Who, but they said that the finale was a complete letdown. There are people, rabid Doctor Who fans, who just turned around and said, you know what, I did enjoy it, but got to this bit, let me down. There was nothing big. There was nothing. It didn't make any sense. You roped a dog. Made some shit up about smart thingies.
It makes no sense. I mean, 2 times now, he got all the fans quibbling about this mysterious thing that happened, like, why Tennant came back as the Doctor, who was Ruby's mum, and both times it was just stupid. It didn't make any sense. You built this mystery up, and then you just took a shit on it, and I don't quite understand what you were intending to do there. And again, I'm sorry. Look, I have no problem with gay characters. Personally, I have no problem with it. I have a problem when you take a pre-existing character and make them gay. I had a huge problem with what they did with 7 of 9. They turned her into a lesbian. She was never a lesbian, right? Ever. Right? But we had to have our tick box. And they've done the same thing with the Doctor. You see, I had no problem with Bill Potts being gay, except the fact that she told everybody.
No, hang on a second.
Gay. But I know that was Moffat probably on the
hold on a second. I need to cut all of them out and put them in order. The reason I need to go out and put them in order, because I reckon there's a secret fucking message there for every time she says it, because there's one point she says it to the Romans and they laugh at her response. And they turn around and goes, yeah, so? And they point to Caephidius, or his name is, goes, he's fucking gay. Oh, and she's a lesbian, like that. And it's like, so what are you going on about? I do think it was malicious compliance in regards to that, because it was so obvious.
Potentially, but I have a problem with them with what they've done with the Doctor. I had a problem with the fact that he was crying every time, and actually, just the actor, does not have the range to be a person that's lived for over 2,000 years, has the ability, the power, the knowledge to wipe out every single living fucking thing in the universe if he wanted to, right? And he's crying over spilt milk, literally. And he cries in every single episode. And then the season final was just dreadful. And again, completely done on purpose, that he rides on the back of the motorbike and Bonnie Langford drives the motorbike. Completely done on purpose.
It's funny because
how much more can you emasculate the Doctor?
It's funny because I recently watched the episode with Matt Smith and The Great Intelligence, where he rides a motorbike up the side of the Shard, and you're watching that, and it's like just Doctor Who having adventures in time and space. As I said before, if he was at the back, so if he was on a fucking laptop backwards programming, going faster, it doesn't go any faster. I'm trying to do this thing. It kind of makes sense, yeah. But and the fact that I think she had to tell him that they had to fight back too was the other thing in that, if I remember correctly from the clip I saw, because Russell T Davies. Yeah, I'm not joking. I think for when he ran Doctor Who first time around, he lent a lot on Stephen Moffat, because his dialogue is shit. It's my level. That's how bad it is, dialogue. Yeah, I can write that dialogue.
In the interviews that they were going for a younger generation, but most of the younger generation didn't watch this. I'm despite what the BBC is saying, it's just propaganda bullshit. They're just doing a Disney. People. I kept seeing, right, Disney, and this is the thing, right? Disney put a press thing out a few weeks ago about the Acolyte, right, saying it was the most popular show watched on Disney Plus of 2024, but they kind of kept that bit quiet. So all the headlines were most popular show of Disney on Disney Plus, most popular premiere. No, it fucking wasn't. The Mandalorian fucking doubled that. People forget, and I kept saying every time I saw this headline pop up of 2024. Go look at the viewing figures for Mandalorian. They were twice as much. Season 2 of The Mandalorian, even bigger, right? But Acolyte was the biggest of 2024. That's because Disney Plus have had fuck all that's new, other than Shogun. And Shogun was a limited thing because of its language. It was big in a certain thing, but it was never going to be like Star Wars on it. So it's nothing to write home about.
I think I heard a complaint in Shogun there were enough black people. I'm sure I heard that.
That's all right. Then Assassin's Creed is making up for that.
It doesn't make any sense. It's set in fucking feudal Japan.
I know.
It's historical too. Doesn't make any sense. I get it when you go into space, yeah, because you can do that. I get it. I will give that as a given. But yeah, it's. I so badly miss Doctor Who. You have no idea how badly I miss Doctor Who.
I do.
I've been watching the older New Who episodes whilst eating my dinner, going through the Matt Smith era, and I forgot how fucking even the shit episodes are B's. Yeah, in the Matt Smith era, you had A and A stars, most of the ones you remember, and the B ones were like the fucking A's of the Jodie Whittaker era. Yeah. And the worst thing is I don't think Chibnall was as bad now. That's how fucked this is.
I didn't think we could get worse than him, and we did.
I didn't think we could get worse than him, but now I'm watching it, it's like kind of, okay, you got Jodie Whittaker, and she doesn't really portray the Doctor. And the worst thing is that actress can fucking do it if she bothers. That's the bit that annoys me the most. And then you got what's his most Cookie Gatwa, and he is he's not capable.
It's vandalized. They are vandalizing these series, and it's intentional. It is intentional, and it's box ticking. And I mean, we'll come back to this because I have. We've got to talk about Douglas's cancel because you might be right about Moffat. I'm just not sure.
Yeah,
but we'll
because
come back to
remember,
after covering.
remember, I think he has to walk a fucking tightrope. Okay, let's go to our next story.
You need to
then.
watch it, and then I'll get
all
your
right,
opinion.
okay.
You're listening to the Monkey Nut Punch podcast.
Fuck it, might have to pull my notes up. The recent insights from the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland, who shared details about the unique Sith Lord character. This Sith is known for their unsettling smiley helmet, designed to disturb the Jedi, adding a new layer of tension to the series, or as we call them, Smilo Ren. Yeah, it's...
Leslie, even you are now saying it's a Sith Lord. Who did you feature in episode 4?
Do you know what would make sense? Yeah, is if all the Jedi are on the planet and they can't get off the planet, and then the Sith wipe them all out, and then they go, well, we never heard of the Sith because last time the Sith were about, they got wiped out, all the Jedi. That would make perfect sense, and you could get away with that, and we'd all go, oh, I'll let you. That's a pass. But no, we got Smilo Ren who could headbutt lightsabers. I watched that.
Okay, so, no, you need to watch. Right, Ryan Kimmel gave the information on this. It is canon in Legends.
But you can headbutt lightsaber.
No, there is a metal. The metal that is made, that the helmet is made from, shorts out lightsabers. It is in Legends. It is fucking obscure, and as Ryan Kimmel said, I'm like 0.11% of people that probably fucking know this, right? But it is true. It is the, but they don't say the helmet's made from that metal, but we're assuming because the writing's so shit, they found no way to tell you that, but that there is a metal that exists in the Legends universe that Disney Plus threw out, by the way, that does short out lightsabers. And don't forget that if it was Beskar, you could do that.
Well, Beskar doesn't short it out.
No, but the lightsabers were getting shorted out in this. But the good thing is, Gareth, all of them die. Bar Master Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Yeah, Master Squid Games is it's so fucking stupid, right? I mean, I was gonna talk about the Acolyte afterwards, but might as well talk about it here. It is the best episode of the Acolyte, but that is not saying much. It had some good lightsaber fighting in it. Not as good as the prequels. I still can't believe why they just don't get the prequels choreographer back. It would make much more sense. But there was a moment where Smilo Ren fucking force pulls, right? He's fighting one Jedi, right? And he stabs him, right? With the lightsaber, right? And then he force pulls someone else onto the lightsaber. And I have to admit, I went, oh, that's pretty cool. Now, if that had been like a Vader move, everybody would be fucking, shaking their load over that. Because it was cool, right? And I'm not ashamed to say that was cool, right? And again, Vader doing that, everybody would have been like, and there have been people that criticize that, and that's just because you're hating on the show, right? I mean, there's enough to hate on that you can give that credit. And the guy playing the Sith Lord is not a bad actor, actually. He's a pretty fucking good actor. And I have to admit, the way he switches between the parts that he was playing, it was fucking obvious who was under the fucking helmet. But the way he switches, it is pretty good. It's just the dialogue's really dumb. And like characters, forget that they can fucking use the Force. Right, but they got rid of the really annoying fucking. That was quite good. I have to admit, I cheered. What's his face? Anakin blew up the Death Star guy, right? So he fucks off with Osha, right, at the beginning because Master Squid Games tells get her out of here, right? And he's pretty fucked up in the initial thing. He gets his leg cut off, but anyway, eventually Osha persuades him to come back again. and they come back again, and Smiler Ren just fucking literally snaps his neck, gets him in a headlock, and just goes like that. And you're like, oh yeah.
And as he snaps his neck, he leans down and whispers in his ear, "Who blew up the Death Star?
Yeah, who blew up?
Who blew up the Death Star? It wasn't Anakin."
Again, what's her face from the Compass TV series thing, the Weapon X?
Yeah.
For a Padawan, she was incredibly overpowered, but she puts up a good fucking fight, right? And again, her fight scenes were pretty good. And at one point, she ends up with she's dual lightsaber wielding, and that was, again, it was quite cool, right? And then she would have had him had he not like managed to whip out this little lightsaber dagger, but he fucking stabs her 3 times, and you say, so in one respect, right, they have laid waste to everybody, but right at the end, right, Master Squid Games, right, and OSHA, but it's really May, and Master Squid Games can't detect that, can't sense that. I mean, hello, Jedi can sense deception. Hello, but no, Master Squid Games can't. Oh, it's not. It's the wrong sister. You know, even though as kids they didn't look like each other, but now they did. Oh yeah, and she cuts off her hair with a lightsaber. It's really dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Anyway, he just leaves all the dead bodies. Just leaves them there. Fucks off. I have to say, it's the first time ever I've been cheering on the fucking Sith.
I haven't watched it. I've meant to watch episode 3 with the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Now, there's a rumor that turns around and says that there were 3 children that were born. Power of one, power of two, power of many. And Matey's got a boss. Smilo Ren's got a boss.
Yeah, I mean,
who is going to be Surprise Woman?
No, it's going to be the fucking Dathomiri bitch, because she's going to be the one that wipes them all. It's going to be the Dathomiri woman. I'm telling you now. It's going to be her, because it's not going to be the mum. It's going to be the Dathomiri one. That's just, again, it's obvious. We're going to get another flashback episode, and it's probably not going to be next week. It's going to be the week after. And then we're going to get this. I mean, it's dumb. It's a bad written show, and the problem is with this, right? And the problem with a lot of these things is, and it's a defense that, you know, I've heard this is a defense of the Acolyte. Well, there were problems like this in Star Wars. Yes, there were. Do you want to know the big difference between these? We liked the characters in Star Wars, so we forgive it. Right? It's like The Boys. You were talking about The Boys. It's like, I'm pissed off about season 4. Actually, we've got to talk about The Boys because that fucking episode was actually quite good.
Funny Farm.
Yeah, I fucking loved that episode. I really enjoyed last week's episode. I thought it was brilliant. Flying sheep. I thought it was fucking funny. I was more like The Boys, but we like the characters, so we are troubled by this. The reason that we've put up with Doctor Who for so many years is because we love Doctor Who. We like the character. The trouble is, this is a new show. This is a new set of characters, right? And they're badly written characters. They're all dumb. They're not likable. The ones that are meant to be good are just fucking stupid. There's no likable characters. And there's no writing to make you like the characters. The writing's so bad, written by people with no fucking morals. Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, right? It shines through in their writing. She can't write for shit. She cannot write good characters.
I'll be honest with you. You don't have to write, but you have to hire someone who can. So she can come up with the idea and then hire someone who can then execute the idea for her, and that's fine. But
and Star Wars wasn't this dumb. I mean, it had its moments. There are things that if we could nitpick through, we could, right? But we like the characters. We loved Han Solo. We loved Luke Skywalker. We loved Princess Leia. We loved Lando Calrissian. All these fucking characters that we love, that were our heroes as a childhood. You can forgive everything else, right?
Yeah.
There are no likable characters in this. It's the same with the Marvel now. There's no likable characters, so everybody picks it to pieces. They're not writing good stories anymore. They're not writing characters that you think, and all this bullshit about women being able to relate. They just want characters that are good. It doesn't matter what fucking color their skin is or who they're choosing to shag. It's about having characters that are likable with decent morals. I don't care who they're shagging. I don't care what color their damn skin is. I just want them to be good people and not dumb.
Yeah.
But
I don't. Oh my god! This is the thing. Is Marvel? When we were talking about Fantastic Four earlier, I was just thinking about how shit Star Wars has got, and then we got reminded of how shit Doctor Who got. And now I told you I was done with Star Wars ages ago. I think I was like Christmas. I was just telling I stopped caring. I really have stopped caring about the whole thing, and it is. I don't know how they can win me back.
They can't. And they're not going to win me. I mean, the bigger thing is I'm done with Star Wars. I think the things that were holding on were like the Last Jedi, Fallen Order game. But Survivor, really, the more I look at it, the more I played it, was total letdown compared. And I like Cal Kestis. That's the only reason that I can do. I like the character.
You know that game was Sweet Baby Inked, didn't you?
I know. And it's obvious, but so was Hogwarts Legacy. I've recently been playing that again. It's terrible, Gareth. I mean, it's not. The more I play the game, the more I have a problem with it. The more I have a problem with the look of Hogwarts, the more I have a problem with it. When you're out and flying around on the broom and doing spells, that's kind of cool. But I've got so many problems. Anyway, but that's for a different conversation. But
could have saved it when we were going through Harry Potter.
Characters. Characterization, and that's what's lacking in the Acolyte. You can have lesbian space witches. I don't care about that stuff. Some people do. I don't give a shit about that as long as it's in character. It's Star Wars. You can have this shit in it, right? But you just got to write decent stories, write decent characters, write character. When the fucking most compelling character in Star Wars is the goddamn Sith, and he ain't that compelling, right? You've got a problem.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. I think that one. Enjoying the podcast so far? Why don't you give us a like on YouTube? Thanks. So, I don't know what to think about this. I really don't. So we've got some exciting news about the Dexter prequel series. Sarah Michelle Gellar is rumored to join the cast, bringing her star power to the beloved franchise. The new prequel promises to explore the origins of Dexter Morgan in an intriguing way. Now, what character is she playing?
She's playing his
the
boss.
first question. So she's playing his boss. Okay.
In the police station thing, I think.
So this is not like Dexter High School. This is not like Smallville.
It's just
Dexter.
after high school, I think.
Okay.
I think it's his as he I think this is like his first proper sort of kills and things. This is him transitioning into what he becomes.
So for it to work, it needs to happen just after Harry's death. Yeah, so Harry was his stepfather, and his adoptive father, and that's when it needs to happen there. Unless Jeff Lindsay's written a prequel with some passion, I don't think it'll be any good, given the fact that everything else is garbage at the moment. I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance, but my expectations
Not
are low.
everything is garbage, but the vandalization of beloved TV series has got to be at the forefront of mind, and I can't help but think you might be right. Although actually, I just share screen that again because
yeah, I just closed the. I accidentally hit the fucking close tab button.
There was the most popular story in the most popular. There was an amazing story. I don't know if you saw it. Glastonbury is on at the moment. Did you hear about this? Who had a little cameo? I thought that was amazing. I mean, it's sad to see him in a wheelchair, but I thought it was amazing. Chuck, if you're listening, you'll like this. So last night, biggest up a bit. There's a story there. It's in
okay.
You can click on the story if you want. It was.
Where is it?
Anyway, up the top. Second,
up the top.
Yeah, go. Yeah, there. Second story in the most popular list.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yesterday, it's Glastonbury. So for the American people that are listening, this is a proper festival.
No, it's not. It was. It was, and then.
Oh, I don't know.
Just turned into a load of toffs and tents in a field. Trying to score drugs.
But Glastonbury is a big festival, and Coldplay played a really good set on there yesterday. And then towards the end, the lead singer of Coldplay was like giving shout outs and things. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, Michael J. Fox is wheeled on to the stage, bless him, and strums along to the tune with the guitar. And I just thought that was amazing. I thought that was really cool and totally unexpected. He was in a wheelchair, but it was just cool seeing him.
Okay.
And if you haven't watched them, it's not an easy watch. But it's worth seeing. His Apple TV documentary is really good.
Okay.
Really good. Anyway, going back to Dexter, I'm going to watch it because Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I bet that's why she was cast.
I was always I never had a thing for Sarah Michelle Gellar. Hands. She had hands didn't look quite right.
Yeah, it was something about Buffy. As
Buffy,
there was something. Oh, I love Buffy. So I come from watching the Buffy thing. But look, I don't blame you for being skeptical about this. I would be too. Yes, Doctor Who is crap. Yes.
No. If it's any prequel, anything remade now is only remade now to destroy the original, or prequelized, or sequelized, or decanonized.
They brought Dexter back for that final season to fix the shitty ending of the original Dexter run. And so I don't know. And they did that because they wanted to please the fans. So
yeah.
Or I don't know, because Dexter fans are sinister mothers. I'm joking. But I wouldn't want to piss off Dexter fans, put it that way.
Okay. All right, then I'll leave it at this. And you still owe me 2 t-shirts.
Good news.
What? You're going to give me those t-shirts?
No. The news on here, I was avoiding the comment.
Okay, so the upcoming 4th season of Slow Horses starring Gary Oldman on Apple TV Plus. It's critically acclaimed show continues to grab his audience with his narrative and stellar performances. And it should be returning in
September
the 4th.
Yep. September is going to be an awesome month for me because
there
are 2 novels.
Hold on. Yeah. No. I read December last week.
Yeah, September.
No, December. I read December.
I know. And now they've announced it as September the 4th. So, I mean, it's already shot before they air season 3.
Yeah, they did.
You get that trailer at the end of it. So, they've already started shooting season 5. So, September 4th, September's an awesome month for me because I'm getting one book I've been really looking forward to. And it was announced yesterday by another author that I follow that a book I was expecting to come out in December is coming out in September. And now this. It's awesome.
Yeah. The Dark Matter book's not that bad. It's quite good. He kind of spooges a bit over his wife at the beginning, which is quite nice, actually. I don't mean actually spooge. I mean like kind of like literal spooging, as in talking and writing stuff. I had trouble trying to read the first one of Slow Horses. It didn't sit well with me because it's like observing River, observing Lady Di. I can't remember the character's name, and it doesn't. Something's not right with it.
I downloaded the third book audio and I couldn't get into it, so I returned it. I just couldn't. I've just been re-listening to all the Harry Potters at the moment.
Mrs. does that every time she goes out running. I think she's gone through the books 3 times.
I had a break from them because, again, that same author brought out a magic series that he's writing as well, and I quite like that. And so I had a break in that, but I'm on book 6 at the moment, so I'm nearly done with Harry Potter. Again, but it's just finding good audiobooks. But September's going to be awesome because I've got 2 and this, so that's really good. I'm looking forward to September now.
Yes.
So, although we've got Deadpool to come before that,
we have got Deadpool to keep us going, and yeah, maybe some nice other. Anyway, let's. You know what that music means?
I love that music. I've got to make some plasticine. I need a morph. I need a morph.
You need a morph. You need a morph. You know what I want to do? Yeah, Chuck has got. Have you seen Chuck's video short of him and his Corvette?
Which one?
The one where he is burning rubber. It has to be a drone shot as always with Chuck. But yes, I watched that and it's just the missus. Hello. So yeah, and Laurie. Hi, Laurie. And now Chuck's campaign has to behave. Yes, have fun, behaving. Okay, all right. So they're all chatting. This is weird. They're all chatting to each other in there. Biffa, you're late. And then if he's right, he should say that goes. Wizard is never late. He appears when he intends to appear. Yeah. Did Nigel Farage say that Doctor Who was crap?
Yes. Yes.
Hang on a second. What was his? Hang on a second. The next question: was it on a debate or was it like a passing comment in the streets? Because if it was on a debate,
I don't know. I just read it. I think it was in a debate. I think he laid into Doctor Who. I can't remember, but I read it somewhere that it is true. He mentioned Doctor Who. I saw his party political broadcast of him, walking over the English hills with his dog and sitting on a garden bench. I was like, look, I'll give it to him. He does know how to do cliche well.
I'm gonna be honest. Ever since Boris Johnson left, the quality of politicians, be it quirky or interesting or just seem like they give a fuck, is gone. Because I didn't like Corbyn, but I always got the sense that he gave a fuck, if that made any sense. But now it's like Keir Starmer goes. There was always the joke. Hi, I'm Keir Starmer. Do you remember me? I'm the head of the Labour Party, and it's. Then we've got Rishi Sunak. Fucking hell, we're going political here.
No, we're not going into. But Spitting Image had him pegged. Yes. Hang on. Biffa said that he did listen to. And proof of seeing pictures from years ago was fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but you had to take the picture. So me and Dexter got to stand next to him, and you had to take the picture. I'll go and find my picture now with Sylvester McCoy.
You can, if it's made from a certain metal. Go and there's a stream with who was it? I think he was on FNT. Ryan Kimmel. He knows his shit. He has certified that this is possible. And when it's right, I'm not the biggest Ryan Kimmel fan, but he definitely knows his shit. Game of Thrones and House of Dragons lore, and he definitely knows his Star Wars lore. And he says that there is a particular metal, and if this face mask is made out of it, and because of the way it shorts out lightsabers, that's the metal they are. They just didn't name it.
Sure, it wasn't retardium.
But in theory, a Mandalorian helmet can block a lightsaber.
Yeah, no, but it
It's
can't
made out of Beskar.
short it though. That's the bit that gets me.
Can't short it.
Yeah, because I knew
So you
about
can-
I knew about Beskar a while back between the I'm sure it was between the prequels and that, but yeah, I
mean, I was watching Theory the other day, and you know he's got this lightsaber company. He's making lightsabers. He's made Cal Kestis's lightsaber. It's really fucking cool. I want it so badly. My wife will kill me if I buy it because it's $500, Gary. But it is fucking cool.
$500 for a lightsaber.
Well, it does a lot. I mean, you look at all Theory's sabers. They are. You look at it is. You can fight with it. So they are built to fight with, and all of the different. You can change the LED colors and the way you swoop it around. It really does. It's clever. Put it that way. But oh god, I want it. I like Cal Kestis's lightsaber. I like it's a cool lightsaber. He's apparently covert. Chuck's phone needs to charge.
Charge it then, Chuck. Come on, man.
He should have had him
Upside
play
down.
Dream Angel on a guitar. Yeah, I don't think he can actually play the guitar that much anymore. But he strummed along. But yeah, that would have been epic. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I love him too. It's interesting documentary on Apple TV. It's worth a watch. There might be 3 now. Might be 3. Oh, 3 t-shirts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Yeah, so the hoodie that Chuck sent me is still on my door, which is too hot to even contemplate wearing.
Your wife's giving you shit. I mean,
What's
telling
she
you
saying now?
She said
Johnny's
you
gonna put
clearly
the
don't
dish-
listen
the
to me.
dishwasher.
I told you the other day it was September. Yeah. It's all right because your simple thing is, well, you don't listen to me either, because my wife never fucking listens to me. And when she turns around and yaps me for not listening to her, I'm like, excuse
Hang
me.
on. Hold on. I've got a great comeback for this. Darling, what temperature does chocolate melt at? And she will get that.
Oh dear. Okay, Gareth's sleeping on the sofa tonight.
What's this?
Sorry. Chuck. Wife's teaming up. You don't want them doing that because then they start hunting in packs.
Start hunting in packs. Yes.
3 t-shirts. I switched on the PC. Thank you.
Thank you very
It does a
much.
lot. Keith, it only needs to be blue lightsaber. That is. Actually, when I was playing Jedi Fallen Order, I had the purple lightsaber. I had Cal Kestis, and you can make it purple. You can turn Theory's cyber this way, and it changes. Oh, it's fucking epic. I had the Force FX one, and that was pretty cool. But the hilt was always too thick. It was always too thick, and you can't really spin with it that well. Whereas Theory sabers are the proper diameter. I mean, he does a Luke Skywalker replica that's a bit cheaper, and he does some other ones that are quite cheap. But if you want the sort of full fighting one that you can bash the shit out of and have really good sound effects, they're not cheap. But these type of lightsabers aren't. Anyway, that's different. Yep, sofa, Gareth. Sofa. We're all married to the same woman. Right. I'm going to move on before I get into trouble, because knowing you lot, now that they're hunting in packs, they're going to send this to my wife.
All right, where would you like to go first, Keith?
What should we talk about? Well, I think we kind of covered the Acolyte. So I could talk about. There's a new series on Netflix this week called Supercell. It's written by a rapper. It's set in South London, and it's an interesting premise. It's basically like a bunch of people get superpowers. They are all black, but this is the interesting thing. They've linked it to sickle cell. So each of their parents has sickle cell, which we know sickle cell tends to overly infect darker colored skinned people. And it wasn't chopped full of politics. It was very street, right? You know, there's like a guy that gets involved in a gang and, you know, sort of gets up in knife wars and things like that, and he gets an invisibility. You've got the bloke that played what's his face in Jodie Whittaker's one of Jodie Whittaker's campaigns, the dyslexic one. He's in it.
Him, I know him, yeah.
He gets the ability to teleport and also travel in time. There's a girl that plays a nurse, and she kind of has the ability to sort of use force. Right? There's a guy who's just really, really strong, and then there's a kid that basically gets the powers of the Flash. And it was kind of interesting. It was kind of watchable. I mean, it's kind of a bit gritty. It's very gritty in places.
Okay.
But it was kind of watchable. It wasn't chopped full of politics. It wasn't like hate white people. There was the odd in character comment, but it felt natural. And it wasn't like hate white people. Oh, it's all about race. There wasn't a lot of that. And in fact, like the Flash's best mate is a white guy that he lives with. And again, there wasn't any of that. It wasn't about race, right?
Okay.
And there wasn't any sort of politics. It was gritty. The ending was kind of surprising. It's definitely going somewhere, because it was a bit of a cliffhanger. A good twist in episode 6. And it's set in recognizable area of London. So, I look, it was watchable. It was watchable. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. The final episode had a good twist. It is gritty. It's not always happy viewing.
Okay.
It is a bit gritty. But it's something I would say is worth a watch. It's quite good sci-fi. It's interesting sci-fi. And it's a bit different. And although they don't really mention it, it is linked to sickle cell. That's why it's called Supercell. So it is linked to super. And actually, the Flash geezer is mixed race. And again, it's worth a watch if you're bored. It's not terrible TV. So we had that this week, and then we had Douglas is cancelled. Not a comedy.
Not a comedy.
And in actual fact, I'm not sure on this, and I need you to watch it, because it's either Moffat putting a very hidden message in the open, or Moffat's gone total woke. And the
What's
reason
the
I
hidden
say
message
this,
in it?
well, okay, it's got a. So, like in the first episode, he goes to see his inept. It starts off and it feels like a comedy, right? And some of the people that are casting it are comedic. I mean, you've got Alex Kingston as Douglas's wife, and she is effing and blinding and, you know, typically Alex Kingston, plays a newspaper like an editor of the Sun. She basically plays the editor of the Sun, and she's everything like that. I ruin people's lives, that kind of thing. You've got what's his face and Amy playing
Amy.
Amy Pond. Whoever plays Amy?
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan, and there's two hosts of like a breakfast TV show set at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's the only way to describe it. It's not the one show. It feels like breakfast TV at 6 o'clock, or kind of it's implying that. And like very early on, he meets his inept agent who talks about his husband, and he was just like, and it felt a bit shoehorned in. You thought, are you grown?
Yeah.
You've got the guy who was the guy that slept with everybody in coupling, who was
yes,
yeah. He plays the boss, and at first he's a bit of a knob, but in a kind of funny, stupid way. And then episode 3 comes along, and I have to say I couldn't watch it. It got so uncomfortable that I couldn't watch it. But I think that's the fucking point that it's making. And basically, the bubbly idiot boss, not Douglas, uses his power to be kind of Harvey Weinstein and sleep with Karen Gilligan's character, or try and get her, imply that if she sleeps with him, she'll get the job. And it's the entire episode, right? And you get a flashback to when Karen Gilligan was young. Funny enough, played by her niece, the same one that played.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh my god, that's good work if you can get it, I suppose.
It was her. Look, obviously a bit more grown up, but it was her. So as young Amy, and you find out that she idolized Douglas, and then at the end of the episode, Douglas comes up, sees her in the room, and walks away and leaves her. Right, and then the 4th episode is she basically blames Douglas for not doing anything, for not helping her, and she basically makes him admit that the thing he was telling everybody was the way she got the job was sleeping with the boss, right? And so this whole 4th episode is not comedic at all, but I think the message it's saying is because the other thing that the boss is all he's a kind of a bit woke, right? And I think the hidden message is this wokeness is to cover up all this bullshit. And I think Moffat is going bing, bing, bing.
He's a really clever
I think
writer.
He's going like this. I think he's going like this.
Oh. Do you think it might be a fucking jab at Russell T Davies?
I don't know. It's subtle, right? You have to. You look at this. You think this is woke. You think this is. But why now? Why write this now? Why now? Right? But the thing is, there are a lot of these like woke comments in there, and I'm just wondering. And I've looked at everything he's done recently, including Doctor Who. But then your voice is in the back of my head, and what he said in that convention. I'm watching this, going,
right?
Is he saying what I think he's fucking saying?
Stephen Moffat was pissed off at the idea of Doctor Who being a woman.
Because here's the thing: at the end of it, Douglas gets cancelled, right? Not for what he said, not even by Karen Gilligan's character. It's a completely different thing that he does. He goes off at his daughter about something, and again, this is a spoiler. You've also got Nathan playing the most cringe-worthy. You see, I don't really like the guy that plays Nathan. He's cringy. Like, he's a bit like Ricky Gervais in The Office, but worse. And he always makes me cringe. And in this, he's cringy and like misogynistic, right? And saying things. And there's a person in there recording him, and she means to record him, and she captures Douglas saying something. So irony is that at the end of it, Douglas gets cancelled for something completely different, and the boss that was the real bad person is still working for, you know, and she is now the lead presenter of the show. Again, she doesn't destroy him, the boss. She inadvertently destroys the thing, and she invites the daughter to witness her basically tearing Douglas down. And it goes from the first 2 episodes being quite comedic to this. I mean, there's the English comedian, funny guy with the beard who played the postman in Ricky Gervais's last thing on Netflix. That you know him, and he plays a driver, and he kind of is a bit meta. He is effectively playing Stephen Moffat in ways of writing, and he has these. If you watch beyond the credits, because each one has like a Marvel stinger featuring him. And they are quite funny.
If you ever watch Coupling, everyone had a job apart from one character called Steve. And the reason Steve didn't have a job, because Steve's job was he was a writer, and he was writing all of this. And ironically, his mother-in-law was the executive producer on there, and he wrote stuff about her. But she was very good. All right, I'll have to watch it. Here you go, look. Here's evidence. I met Sylvester McCoy. I'm all hot and sweaty because I've got a leather jacket on in the XL Centre in London. I was wearing a hat.
As well. He was one of the first people to get me into reading. Him and my grandmother.
It was, what do you call it? It was nice because we had booked a photo shoot with me and Dexter. I think it was me and Dexter, yeah. And because it was like Dexter, you can see Dexter's shoulder in that image there. And we told him this, and he says, look, it's all right if we get a photo with you. And we went, yeah, sure. He was really, really accommodating. And this is, we also met Virginia Hay too. And I've told you the story that she got upset because I took a picture of her eating. And she lives in Swindon. I don't know if she still lives in Swindon. But yes. I'll watch Douglas is Cancelled. I'll watch it. And the thing you have to remember with the Stephen Moffat stuff, end of the series. Yeah, end of the series, it might point towards something because he allowed an anti-immigration episode of Doctor Who.
I don't know if he's just been woke and this is inadvertent, or he is basically saying a lot of these people that believe in all this woke nonsense is just to cover up their sins.
I think he's saying this
Star Wars Acolyte.
All of Hollywood.
Kathleen Kennedy still having a job. How? Kevin Feige still having a job. I mean, I understand. This is not a misogynistic comment. I can understand more why Feige's still got a job than I can understand why Kathleen Kennedy's still got a job.
Yeah, because Feige's put millions in the revenue pot where she hasn't. Billions, lots of money in the revenue pot. She's put 3 lots of chunks of revenue in there. He's put like 18 so far. So anyway, shall we talk about Dark Matter and how that got really, really fucking messy?
When you say messy, what, in a bad way or in a good way?
In an interesting way. So just to run down the premise of Dark Matter, just to start off with. Dark Matter's story of a guy who gets swapped out by a doppelganger who's figured out how to traverse parallel universes using a box and a chemical which allows him to go into superposition, which allows him then to move across from parallel universes. Matey is separated from his wife and that, and he's journeying back to get there. He gets back only to find lots of other parallel versions of himself have also found their way back to that same universe. And my God, because you had the one psycho guy, yeah, and it was quite easy to track. And then all of a sudden, no, he pulls out like an app or goes onto like a chat page or something, and there's like 71 of them clearly on the chat log. And I'm thinking 71 people, and they've all opened up a fucking Discord server to try and find out who gets to keep his wife. And it was just, I'm like, it didn't seem like it was good because the way everything was put together, it made sense, yeah. But it was a case of, you know, you had the violent ones, yeah, which turned out because of more kind of dodgy bits of his nature, and then they had the doppelganger, which I called the guy who replaced him. And I like the fact that the doppelganger, his logic behind replacing him, he thought he would like his life. He found someone he thought would like his life, so he would give him his life, and he would take his life, and they could just swap places, and he could go and live this way, and he could go and live that way, and everyone would be happy. I like that logic because it didn't seem like he was being a dick. He also explained why he didn't kill him or bury him or do something else with him too, because that was always something that kind of was in my head. I like that. I liked just like the way it was all just degraded, and there's like him killing himself. I want to know how the authorities are going to explain like the bodies of like 100 versions of the same man. Seriously.
I don't think it has to though, because they've all left that world, and all of our characters are now in a different world. What I found interesting about was the way it ended, because the way it ended, it did actually open the door for a season 2. You had his mate that developed the drug, who was then trapped on the other world,
developing that drug.
Yeah,
Amanda.
Meet up with that lady. You had the woman that was one of the friend whose doppelganger in the other universe was stuck on the sort of weird bug world, decide to leave weird bug world. You had Matey, who was his idiot boss in one, who was not an idiot in the other one, who had gone traveling through the box, looked like he'd had a riot. In a good way. So you had all these characters that are introduced, and it gave you sort of like glimpses of possibilities. I mean, I said to you off air, I hadn't realized that the writer of the novel was also the writer and, you know, showrunner of this. So yeah, well, anyway, he has been interviewed and said, yeah, that there are things that I've deliberately sewed in here. If we do a season 2, I would kind of like to see a season 2. I think I'd be interested in seeing that. This went off in a direction I didn't see coming, and the last 2 episodes were kind of completely fucking bonkers.
But the great thing is the way that it was put together wasn't subverting expectations. It was quite within the parameters of the story for that to happen, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but I need a season 2 because I think his mate at the moment is hard done by. So I need his mate to have some kind of resolution. I found the connection between the family. I mean, the fact that she messages the group, finds the group, and sends a message to them all saying, you know, I'm staying with my husband. And those two have a heart-to-heart. And the conversation where he admits there are days, but it was very human, right? It was a very human, real conversation that he has with his wife. And what I liked about it was that amongst all this fantastic stuff, there is a human side to it. And I liked that. It was grounded. Which in this I liked. And I liked that conversation between the two of them. It made a lot of sense. And I like their ending. I like the fact that they let the son choose. And I found it interesting they didn't show us the world that he ends up on. I'd like to see more of it. I think there's a lot. He's put enough in there because he didn't resolve the friend's story, because he didn't adequately resolve the sort of psychiatrist story either.
I felt that she got a happy ending, I'll be honest with you.
I don't know.
But,
I think,
but hang on a second. No. Right. So no, she got a happy ending. But the question was, what happened to her version in that universe?
Well, that was the thing. I didn't think she had an ending because I think it left unanswered questions, and really, I don't think we did see a full ending because then Matey Boy got marooned on that same planet. That planet had more, or that world, sorry, that world had more significance. So it was kind of like, so I think it's left the door open, and I think Apple needs to give it a season 2. I think they could probably resolve it in season 2, but it would be nice to see one. I feel better now that I know that the person that wrote the novel is the person that's going to write it. So, whatever it is, it will be his intention. So I like that. It's not like Game of Thrones season 8. Oh, fuck me. You know what? I was meant to mention House of the Dragon. Oh, my God, it was good this week. There were some moments this week. Fuck. Yeah, it's getting good. It's getting really, really, really good.
Okay, well, because Dark Matter's finished, I'll cancel my Apple TV subscription and move over to my Now TV subscription, and see if I can get a couple of months of that, and maybe watch House of the Dragon. As I said, do kind of struggle with child murder and stuff. It's not my not my bag.
It's a brief moment in a show that's really interesting, and I think you like this more than Game of Thrones. It is different to Game of Thrones. It definitely has an ending. That they parade the body through the town in this week's episode. You do get a glimpse of it, but again, it's intentional because they make the mother and the queen, or the queen mother, if that makes sense, parade with them, and you need to feel what they're feeling, and that's what the show. That was why you see that. It all makes sense when you watch it. And trust me, the murderers get their fucking comeuppance, and you see it, so you feel better about that. The king fucking batters the shit out of one of them to death, and then hangs all the rat catchers in the village, and you see the one that was responsible hanging there. So although because he hangs all the rat catchers, that has other ramifications, including one pretty big one. So again, yes, it is uncomfortable, but it's there for a reason. It's not done just for shock value. It advances the story. It advances the stories of the characters. It is done, and it does have meaning. What I don't like is when it's done purely for shock value. When it has meaning, I can forget. It's still a nasty act, and it's a terrible act, but it has a meaning in terms of the show. It's not purely shock value. And the aftermath in season of this in this episode was brilliant. So again, really fucking good episode. Looking forward to tomorrow. Look, this is a really well-made TV show, Gareth, and it's a rare thing where we get this. It's not always, there's moments where it's not great, but that's normal in any TV show. It's competently made. It's competently written. It's well fucking acted, and it's got some really good actors in it. And Matt Smith is fucking awesome in this show. I mean, the bit at the beginning where she fucking tells him to fuck off, and he's in full fucking armor. Right, and he's in this pretty fucking brutal looking armor, riding on the back of this big fuck off dragon coming out the cave. It is a badass moment. I mean, it is you're like, fuck. And he's in full fucking gear with his fucking long Tigerian hair. He looks the part.
Let me do Douglas is cancelled, and then I'll what do you call it? I'll consider it, because I was never a Game of Thrones fan.
I don't think you have to be to watch this. There's not the first episode of season 2, you get a bit of Jon Snow, but it's not Jon Snow. It's like his fucking great grandfather. And that's there for Game of Thrones fans. And it's 2 minutes on the wall. But that's there for Game of Thrones fans. But you don't need to be a Game of Thrones fans to like this. This is different. This is not Game of Thrones, and that, for once, is a good thing. And I mean it in terms of that this is. I think this is better. Actually, there are less characters, which makes it easier to follow. There's still a lot of characters, but there are less characters. There is a more of a direction. Episode 8 of season 1 is some of the most emotionally TV I've seen in a long time. It is perfectly written, perfectly acted, and what's his face who plays the king? It just shows off how fucking good an actor he is. This is the same guy that played the CZCID guy in Hot Fuzz, right? The same guy, right? And then when you look at him in that and you look him in this, you go, okay, this guy's got acting range, Ncuti Gatwa. This guy has got a range in his acting.
What I was going to say, it's you've got the other guy from Hot Fuzz was in there too. Played the king from the first season.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. He did not die in the first season.
Yes, but I didn't want to spoil it. If you know that, yes, he dies in episode 8, but it's fucking amazing. Like in terms of it's emotional, but it's brilliantly acted, and again, very human. I like this. I'm going to say it. I like this more than Game of Thrones. But then, Game of Thrones was really ruined for me after season 6. So, brought Jon Snow back to life to do nothing.
You and Nigel loved that. I couldn't. I watched that first one, and apparently one of Tanith's friends watched it. They got into they did the 4-episode rule, and it worked out the 4-episode rule. I haven't done I didn't give it the 4-episode rule because I'm not. When it comes to doing stuff with children, I struggle badly with it.
I wouldn't recommend it to you now, but I would recommend this. There are moments, right? There are moments that are shocking. There are a few things in there, right? But I think you'll get into it and therefore forgive it.
Okay.
It's,
all right.
It's good.
Okay, and as we leave, just on the way out the door. So.
When did you do
this? Yeah. So this is. So the podcast listeners, this is our friend Chuck in a nice bright red Corvette, burning rubber.
Oh, yeah, all right, Chuck. Badass.
Yeah, we've got 11 comments on it so far, but it's like, hang on, come on, it's the tension building.
He's worried about the drone.
He's worried about the drone.
He's probably worried about the drone.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was worried about the drone.
I do actually like his Corvette.
Yeah, no, I left to show off.
I do like it. He's a nice friend. How have I not seen this? Is this a short on?
Yeah, it's a short. I saw it today, actually. I saw it no before we started, and I went outside for a cigarette. Saw it then.
Huh. Fair enough. But hang on, just a few comments. Biffa said documentary didn't mention that Michael J. Fox 3 co-workers at the 70s TV show also. Yeah, that's true. No, he didn't mention that, but that's because it was focusing on thingy. Anyway, thanks to everybody in the chat. Glad you're back, Biff. Good to see you, sir. Isn't Rings of Power starting in a couple of weeks? Oh, it's gonna be fun.
No.
What you've got to do is you've now got to watch this, knowing their shit. I now watch The Acolyte and laugh.
No,
because it's terribly bad. I laugh at the headbutting of the lightsabers. I laugh at the dumbness of the show.
I value my mental health, what I've got left of it. And I don't think I could hack. I couldn't hack the Acolyte. Sorry, I couldn't hack Doctor Who, the Acolyte, and fucking Rings of Power Butt
The
rings of
Rings of Power
power.
is so bad. The Rings of Power is so bad. It's funny. Taking our jobs. All I hear is the South Park.
Took our
Park.
jobs.
They took our jobs. That's
Yes.
what I hear. Anyway, all right.
And on that bombshell.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.